Many Christians and people today are not prepared for what is going to take place during the end times. They're waiting for things like an antichrist, two witnesses, a one world government. These things have already happened. You're looking for things that have already happened and it's already in the past and we're living in it. The only thing now is the Most High to visit his people. That's the only thing that we're waiting for. How does that happen? We're going to go over scriptures today that show you that we are right in the middle of it. Things will get worse as we go further or things get closer to Yeshua's return. We're going to read scripture and we're going to go over a recent news event from what happened in Spain. And you're going to see that we're getting so close to when we compare news events to what we read in scripture. When you're looking for two witnesses, you're wasting your time. It's not happening. And Antichrist, this one figure, that's not going to happen either. We're already right in the middle of it. And so let's watch this little clip that happened in Spain. So let's see what happened with this flood.
We're going to begin in Spain, where authorities say 51 people have died and dozens are unaccounted for in flash floods in the region around Valencia.
Well, it's extremely worrying. You mentioned that death toll there of at least 51 people dead, that number that we've been given by the Spanish Interior Ministry. But the concern is that that death toll could rise even further, and that's because there are still people missing in the Valencia region and elsewhere, the surrounding regions, which have also been heavily affected by this flooding. The rescue attempts and search for missing people still go on. A lot of people spent the night on the roofs of their houses or other buildings and petrol stations, for example, as they waited for the floodwaters to subside and waited for rescuers to reach them. Other people took refuge in their cars and other vehicles. But we have seen some devastating images of cars just being pushed along the streets of towns across Valencia.
This is a tragic event. And it's not that we're sitting around praying for these things to happen and waiting for them to happen. But as when Samuel told Eli that his sons were going to get killed by the Most High, Eli's only answer was, let the Most High do what seems good to him. And that's all we can say now. It's not that we're hoping for this to happen, but let the Most High do what seems good to him. And our only job is to stay out of his anger path. These things must happen, and there's nothing we can do about it. So now let's go over the scripture that show you this type of event and how it's going to get ramped up as we go along. Let's start by reading Matthew 24:37. But as in the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. 2 shall be in the field, 1 shall be taken, and the other left. 2 women shall be grinding at the mill, 1 shall be taken, and the other left. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your king doth come. What happened yesterday is very similar. I know a lot of people think that this verse applies to the rapture. No, 1 taken means 2 people were standing in one place, 1 died, and then the other one left. And as we see with this flood, 2 people were standing together or in the same town, in the same area. 1 was taken and the other was left. And it's like I said before, it's not that we're praying for it or hoping for it, but we can only sit back and watch and hope that the Most High has mercy on us. So let's move to another verse, and we're going to move to the Old Testament. Remember, the Old Testament and New Testament all say the same thing, right? And we're going to compare them, we're going to go over them, and we're going to show that they're pretty much talking about the same event, as I do in all my other videos, that these verses are all related, right? So let's read Jeremiah 25:30. Therefore prophesy against them all these words, and say unto them, the Most High shall roar from on high, and utter his voice from his holy habitation. He shall mightily roar upon his habitation. He shall give a shout as they that tread the grapes against all the inhabitants of the earth. So this is not an isolated event. This is the end, when the Most High has had it with the inhabitants of the earth. And he says he's going to give a shout. You know, when we read in Revelation about the angels shouting, and he's going to leave his habitation, which is heaven, to come to judge them that are on the earth. Verse 31, a noise shall come even to the ends of the earth, for the Most High has a controversy with the nations. He will plead with all flesh, and he will give them that are wicked to the sword, says the Most High. So we see right here in verse 31 that he will plead with all flesh means that he will judge the entire earth at this point, and the wicked shall die by the sword. Verse 32, thus saith the Most High of hosts, behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth. That's why you see the tornadoes. You're going to see the hurricanes coming from where? Various different coasts of the earth. These rains, these storms come literally out of nowhere. People aren't prepared. It's happened not only in Spain, but in various places. Verse 33, and the slain of the Most High shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered nor buried. They shall be like dung on the ground. The Most High said these people will be just left like feces. Nobody's going to pick it up. If one person dies, you can bury them. But when the slain are many, or the people who die are many, it will be difficult to bury them. Too many at one time, they will just have to be left. So that also shows you that this, what we see yesterday or today in Spain, will get ramped up because we're not there yet. It will be much worse as we get further because the people that passed away, the people who are not left in Spain, will be buried properly. But we're going to get to a point where that will no longer be the case. Verse 34, howl ye shepherds and cry and wallow in yourselves in the ashes, you principal of the flock. For the days of your slaughter and your dispersions are accomplished, and you shall fall like a pleasant vessel, like a valuable vessel that is easily broken. And the shepherd shall have nowhere to flee, nor the principal of the flock to escape. And the voice of the cry of the shepherds and of the howling of the principal of the flock shall be heard. For the Most High has spoiled his pasture, and the peaceable habitations are cut down because of the fierce anger of the Most High. He has forsaken his covert as a lion, for the land is desolate because of the fierceness of the oppressor and because of his fierce anger. So you see that the Most High plans to judge the earth with anger, and there's nothing we can do about it. But watch. Now let's read in one more place, and we're going to go over another place, 1611 King James Version, 2nd Esdras 15 verse 9. And therefore says the Most High, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people are led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them out with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plagues and the punishment that Elohim shall bring upon it. Now we see Matthew, and we see Jeremiah, and we see Esdras mentioning the same thing, how the Most High plans on destroying the habitation or the place of the earth. It says the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plagues and the punishment. Why? Because his people, the chosen people of the Most High, are under stress, suffering to a point where the Most High has had his limit, just like we saw in Exodus. The Most High said he will bring them out as he did before in Egypt. He's going to plague this current day Egypt. What did he do in the first Egypt? If you haven't seen the movie, let's read Exodus chapter 11, verse 4. And Moses said, thus saith the Most High, about midnight I will go out in the midst of Egypt, and the firstborn in the land shall die. For the firstborn of Pharaoh that sit upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of beasts. And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall be like it any more. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue, against man or beast. And that ye may know how the Most High doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. We see here that the firstborn died in Egypt, and there was a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, because every household had a firstborn in it that died. The cry was there, and we read the same thing will happen again in Egypt, this Egypt. In verse 12 in Esdras, it said, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it will be smitten with plague and the punishment that Elohim shall bring upon it. And we read that also in Jeremiah chapter 25, verse 36. A voice of the cry of the shepherds and a howling of the principal flock shall be heard, for the Most High has spoiled their pasture. We see all three are connected. Esdras, Jeremiah, and Matthew, right, are all connected. And we see that it will take place just like we saw in Exodus, that we read about in Exodus. To sum this all up, we all have to be watchful now and pray that the Most High has mercy on us, because we see these plagues and these disasters starting to ramp up. It gets quiet for a while, and then the next thing you know, something out of nowhere takes place. We have to be prepared and pray. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.